Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Stasis Bone Totem, the second most stressful game that I had to record today, because let's be honest, Steven's Sausage Roll is just, I don't know, puzzle games, it's very fun to do puzzle games on the channel and I like being motivated to finish them, but I also find it so stressful trying to perform intellectually in front of an audience. Ugh. Anyway, I guess I'm doing the same thing here. That was supposed to be a joke about the disparate tones of the two games, but this is also a puzzle game. Anyway, so you figure out what we're doing here. I don't actually know what our next achievable goal is. Let's just take a quick glance at everybody's situation. So, Mac dropped the laser when I was trying to cut through the lock on the other side of this thing. That's very inconvenient for us, and there's not a lot we can do about it at the moment, I don't think. So this is it's not a mirror though, right? It's a lens. So like holding it over, oh, I'll just insert it in there and reflect the, yeah, I guess that's something. You can just turn this. Well, what I was about to say is, if it functions like a mirror, maybe we can at least like hold it in there with one arm and make it easier for the other arm to reach in and grab what we're doing because we can see behind the door a little bit better, but this totally works. Just cut through that. Okay. There we go.
It worked. Believe it or not, the lock's cut open.
Mac must hurry.
I'm trying, Moses. You gotta believe me. Okay, well, hopefully the pressure just holds the door shut, because I did destroy the only latch.
Whoa.
Loud noises.
Tell me about it.
What happened? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Got through the door, right as the dig site collapsed behind me. Made it. Barely.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Where are you now?
Give me a second.
I do have to say, like, the sense of peril in something like that is very much reduced, for me personally, by the fact that I know that we could have left that like that for literally days of playtime and nothing would ever have happened until we cut the lock. And, like, I think if those two things were diegetically linked, if cutting the lock was in some way the element in the story that broke the dam, it would feel like a dangerous situation to me. So I don't know, maybe that's just silliness on my part, but it feels very artificial. The tension and danger in the cutscenes feels a lot more removed than tension and danger that occurs during the gameplay. Wow, these are, what the fuck? Ribbed protrusions, the color of curdled dairy, seesaw along the walls. A carved simulacrum of gills and fish scales. Yeah, that's the most important thing that's happening along these walls. A gallery of malformed stone heads glance and leer about, frozen in the perpetual fascination of those who find themselves wandering these long dead halls. What a nightmare. I know I say that a lot, but it keeps being correct, you know? Okay, so the symbol at the top of this has been circled or stamped or something. Let's take that screenshot. It's probably going to be worth having for later. A wall of sandbags form a protective rampart while also allowing easier access to those who'd brave a closer inspection of the morbid effigy. The carved figures within the hallway have undergone a macabre tonal shift. Whereas the sculpture by the entrance was adorned with jewelry, Those within this shrouded hallway depict flayed bodies in brooding positions. Well, I mean, really, like, that's a lot better than you expect to be able to do when flayed, right? The emplaced lights disperse the darkness into the hallway's recesses, the illumination as much an intrusion into these halls as the scientists who pried them open. A sheet of reflective orange tarp provides passage over treacherous terrain, hints of barbed rock hidden beneath. Are there rats down here? How are there rats down here? Whence? Whence, little guys? The bespeckled carpet of bioluminescent lights bleeds out from the carved cavity, birthing core-like growths from where the light pools into alcoves and bends around nooks. I mean, it's pretty, at least. And this is the birthing gateway, because of course it is. You know, if you were to give birth with your entire rib cage, which I think is usually the thing you're trying to avoid doing. Clusters of inky crystals jut outward from the rock, a mineral detonation trapped in time. And a gargantuan stone torso rears up from the ground, its belly bent open to allow travel through toothed ribs. A disquieting maternal aura emanates from the sculpture, the Caesarean passageway promising a contrived rebirth for those who emerge, and unbirth for those who enter. That's the thing I would be trying very hard not to think in this moment. Huh, and then it's remarkably constructed in here. So we have an ancient crane built from wood, cord, and metal. Despite apparent age and deterioration, it has remained standing. A burly slab of rock serves as the crane's counterweight, housed within a prison of straining wood, the merest shiver threatening to tear it free and plunge it into a calamitous descent. I bet we're going to see that.
Oh, jeez. That is a long drop.
Distance to bottom of crevice is incalculable.
Well, that makes me feel better.
What are you going to do?
Gotta get across, obviously. Need to bridge the gap. Somehow.
I mean, listen, the fact that the distance down is incalculable just means that we can't see the bottom. That's not such a big deal. It is very dark in here. The splintered remains of a modern bridge subjected to some catastrophe or sabotage. Seems like pretty fucking large-scale catastrophe or sabotage. And over here, a jagged palisade has been constructed around this platform, both it and the floor built from aged and rotting wood, seemingly much older than the recent intrusion of modern Kane infrastructure. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it seems built by someone else? The Soviets, maybe? But, like, why would you bring wood all the way down here? That wouldn't be my first, Ooh, I'm really glad that we have this interaction system here, because I would not have realized that this was a place we could go without it. But it feels to me like bringing wood down here is asking for something to rot out and break, right? So this is moving. Insect. A grotesque invertebrate mounts its hapless prize, the tip of its insectile head burrowed deeply through a tear in the hazmat suit. The plastic around the tear undulates as hidden hostellum quaff flesh liquefied by injected toxins, while probing mandibles spoon up crumbling meaty porridge. That's a heck of a sentence right there. Sequences of words that have probably not been used before. Well, we could kill it and then sample it. I'm gonna try to kill it. This might end up killing me, but what if... but you have to... Right, we have to be on an interact screen. Hold on a second. Will you be chill while I look at this PDA? just real quick. Dr. Abdulaziz Al-Kabur, Archaeological Geology. Message. Dear Mom and Dad, I'm writing to share with you the fantastic news that I've been transferred to a new facility. I'm excited about this opportunity and can't wait to share all the details with you in person. The work I am doing here is truly groundbreaking, and I am grateful to be able to make such meaningful contributions to my field. I am also thrilled to let you know that my superior mentioned the possibility of a bonus leave if I continue to excel in my work. I miss you both and can't wait to see you again on the ring. Until then, please know that my love for you is as strong as ever, and you are always in my thoughts. Personal log. I looked closer at the drone footage of the ancient water wheels surrounding Black Sand Beach. They were primarily used for milling. What's even more fascinating is the substance they were grinding. The millstones are coated in a fine white powder. I had it tested, and it turned out to be bone dust. Human bone. Why they were grinding remains a mystery. Ceremonial use? Dietary supplementation? Animal feed? To Dave Gallagher, which is, I think, a name that we've not seen before. Somehow, everybody's always talking to people we've never met. There are people whose PDAs we've not stolen yet. I understand the company's desire to expand Omega deeper into the cave system. Still, there's no practical way of doing it without damaging sections of the excavation site. Do we really need a STEM station down here? These ruins are still mostly unexplored, but their inhabitants were remarkable, even from what little we know. Their technology was far more advanced than any other civilization from this period by hundreds of years. The historical significance of these findings cannot be overstated. They could change everything we know about our earliest ancestors. I implore you to halt expansion until we can find a way to preserve the ruins. At the very least, allow me to plead my case in person when you arrive next week. Okay, so this Dave is someone, like, important. Is a command person. A C-14 sample from the oldest milled bones has been dated 1650 AD. Meanwhile, the structures themselves go back thousands of years. Perhaps the sample was contaminated. Either way, we must keep the site intact until we understand what we're dealing with. The core samples we drilled at 5671 Hz at 1.29 meters per second squared indicate that most of the cave system comprises calcic plagioclase. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce that. Sanidine with augite, olivine, and small amounts of lucite. This is unusual for the region, especially the ocean floor. The weathering further suggests this outcrop was exposed to sun and wind some 2,000 years ago. Today, my heart is heavy with grief. I received the terrible news that Yvette was tragically injured. The thought of informing Captain Haskин up top is just horrid. The loss is truly devastating. I found the critters that escaped from animal testing. They were breeding in the refrigeration tanks. I don't know what my colleagues were doing with them in the lab. Still, they should be more careful. Those things are nasty. Fluoroantimonic acidic blood and all. Fluoroantimonic. Just gonna learn something real quick here. So obviously I have an idea of the fluoro part. Fluoroantimonic acid is the strongest super acid. Huh. Based on the measured value of its Hammett acidity function. Okay, so it's like, it is in fact very bad. A mixture of hydrogen fluoride and antimony pentafluoride, containing various, chemistry stuff that I don't know anything about. A super acid that, in terms of corrosiveness, is trillions of times stronger than 100% sulfuric acid in terms of its pronating ability measured by Hammett function. Okay, that seems very dramatic. Got word of the base lockdown. Guess I'm going to be stuck here for a while. I'm not complaining. Message to the entire crew of the Mule. You can't keep moving people into the temple, even if the quarantine lasts only a few days. They are damaging an incredibly valuable excavation site. Find another place to put them. Everybody is piled into the Prime Omega laboratory. My claustrophobia kept me out here. Maybe for the best. It has been so tranquil. Where is everybody? The decon chamber alarm was going nuts. I looked through the lab door, and it was piled high with congealed torsos. At first glance, I could see something that looked like a gnarled tree, with knotted branches and a twisted trunk. But upon closer inspection, its branches were made up of human arms and legs, twisted and contorted into grotesque shapes. The trunk was composed of torsos, stacked one on top of the other, their eyes and mouths opened in eternal screams of agony. The creature seemed to pulsate with life, its limbs writhing and twitching as if it were in constant pain. Every now and then a blood-curdling scream would emit from their mouths. I've collapsed the bridge to ensure it stays in the lab. Okay, cool, good fun. Well, now we know what awaits us across the bridge. I don't fear death, for I know nothing is left to experience pain once my mind is gone. But I would have liked to explore more of the world and uncover our shared past. Alas, even this current project, which will take my life, remains unfinished. The many stories in these walls, waiting to be told, will not find their interpreter in me. There is comfort in meeting my end locked up in a temple erected by a lost civilization. It is a good death for an adventurer. If you find this log, please have my body sent to the corpse ring for burial. I promised my parents I would return to them. You know, honestly, he's handling this all remarkably well. Alright, let's see about this. So over here we have a bit of carved wall that's worth looking at. This portion of the wall has been carved out and bound by straps, made ready for terminally delayed transportation and analysis. Alright, let's fucking...
Oh, Kane's rain.
Is it... It's still alive?
The creature is, not the poor bastard underneath it.
An unpleasant end.
Maybe you can cut it off him?
That would mean getting close to it.
Maybe I can use this plus like a pole or something to fashion a nice long spear.
This thing's blood. It melted right through the metal.
Cutting it open didn't stop it?
No. It's writhing. It didn't even notice, I'd say.
Very little would stop it. It is a higher form.
Compared to what?
I was gonna say, how much higher can it be if it doesn't even notice when you stab it? Can I sample it without destroying the organic sampler? Probably not. Okay, there is just the one interaction point. Well, obviously, an empty acetylene torch isn't going to do anything. If we find some fuel, maybe. No, I can't. I can't zap it. All right. Well, that's a fun thing that we now know about. And there's not really anything else around here, right? Like we didn't discover any objects or anything. Well, you know what? He looked at the crane, but I didn't get to look at the crane. Like it didn't pull up a puzzle panel or anything. So can we? Can we? Okay. Yes, actually. I don't know to what end, but we can look at it. Okay, so I can...
Charlie, you see
Huh.
this? The reaction in the metal?
Yeah. It's amazing. Some sort of chemical reaction?
An ancient technology. And like everything else here, one better left alone.
Wish I had the luxury.
I mean, do we just want it all to turn on? Okay, that resets it. That just turns on that light. That turns off that light. It seems to turn off everything. That turns on those three. Turns on those two. Was that good? Did I... Well, it's doing something. I mean, I'm not doing that. Hmm. I've lost the ability to interact with this thing. I can't touch it anymore. And I can't unbolt these with the tools that I have, I wouldn't think. I don't know what I'm going to use this for. Well, in theory, its job is to eat metal, right? Or no, its job is to eat stuff off of metal. Its job is to maintain metal. But I wonder, can we... Nope, I cannot induce it to, Alright. I'm no longer able to mess with this. I just put it in the position where the thing was circled on that that piece of paper outside. And yeah, none of this stuff is interactable anymore, so I guess... Pry it open. No? Nothing? Alright. I guess we're done with that for the moment. Until we can figure out what to do with these. Well, that's something, I guess. Alright. What about Charlie's position? Do we have anything of interest in Charlie's position? We have, of course, the section of cave wall that we pulled the core sample from. There's for sure nothing here to do. We already punched the survey data into the boring machine.
King, heavy under central apparatus. 1138. Power procedure initiated.
Children should not play near this machine, Charlie.
You're probably right, Mose.
So there was... In that PDA we were just looking at, there was a specific enough number that I thought it was weird. Shoot. Okay, let me... Dr. Abdulaziz... It just remembers those. It just threads everything together. Okay. The core samples we drilled at 5671 hertz. Well, I mean, that looks a lot more lively than... Sometimes it does. I don't know. Okay, whatever. I'm going to press the button.
Warning. King, heavy under central apparatus. 1138 in operation. Operation should be conducted by licensed HUDA engineers only.
Yeah, I don't think this is a good idea either.
So...
Well, I mean, that definitely fucked up that wall.
Mac, I did it. I got the drill to finish its run.
Still have all your arms?
Legs, too. Looks like, a cave on the other side.
That cave system will lead you to Alpha Base. Assuming you haven't destabilized its structural integrity. It very well could collapse on you.
Bucket of optimism, are you, pal?
It's a little rich coming from Mac. I guess let's... I mean, listen, it's programmed to do whatever they programmed it to do, so... In a very real sense, whatever's about to happen here is only half my fault. How do I... Can I even get through there? Okay, I just have to click further in. She won't go exactly to the mouse cursor. Well, we found a dead person and their PDA. A radiant crystal embedded in the cave wall illuminates the diving suit. It has been partially subsumed by a rising layer of mud. A glance through the muck-stained faceplates reveals a decomposed corpse. However, the suit's watertight seal indicates death by asphyxiation. Fun. Let's just have a quick look at that.
There's a, dead diver here. He died in his suit.
May his mind find the nexus. Does he have anything useful?
I think so. I think our suit was picking some stuff out. Omnidirectional recording device for playing audio back through that microphone. Some aluminum welding rods. Okay. And an empty bag. fairly standard diver gear. Never hurts to have some extra pockets on hand, especially ones that can withstand toxic spills and store acids. That does seem useful. I like our suit pointing stuff out to us. I like the suit as a diegetic explanation for our sort of like detective vision. Alright, who were you, friend? Also, how does everyone's PDA always end up like 10 feet from them? You are Roger Callan, the marine biologist. Funny how seemingly insignificant events can drastically change your life. One moment I was pinging the ocean floor looking for whale signs, and the next I was promoted. This was not how I expected my life to turn out. I had a mountain of educational debt and a miserable wife. I can still hear her voice. Who studies marine biology anyway? She repeatedly asked this question for 10 years straight. You will never amount to anything, Roger. I should have listened to my mother. Blah, blah, blah. Well, look at me now. To Aaron Skullwalker and Pandoria Chambers. These are pseudonyms for sure, but they're good pseudonyms. Professors, allow me to be the first to welcome you to Alpha. This is the first momentous step toward understanding more of our past and exploiting it for future profit. I am thrilled that you have agreed to join me and Kane in this undertaking. If you have any questions, I'm at your disposal. I've mapped most of the site already, and I'm preparing to lead expeditions into the temple system, which I am sure you will both want to be a part of. Until then, welcome to the last frontier on planet Earth, our very own abyss. It's a pleasant way of thinking of it. Kane plans to exploit the fauna here. The oceans are mostly fished out, and seafood is a rare delicacy, but in this region, marine life seems to thrive. Ha! I caught it! Stupendous, definitive proof that something in this cave system is allowing complex life to exist and evolve over 20,000 feet below the ocean surface. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, well, maybe not beautiful. It is a maggot, and a particularly feisty one at that. It immediately latched onto my wrist and started sucking my blood. But predatory behavior means there is prey, which means there are more discoveries to be made. Professor Skullwalker, I would also like to take this opportunity to express my admiration for you in particular. Your voyages beyond the Outer Rims played no small part in igniting my passion for exploration. I would love to share some stories with you, over a drink perhaps, one pioneer to another. I've been feeding my new pet algae from around the base. We've no shortage of the stuff. The little beastie's appetite seems to know no limits, and its growth rate is staggering. Yeah, this always turns out well. The professors weren't as keen to join my expedition as I'd hoped. Chambers, I understand. I've heard about the side effects of a full-body transplant. She's probably not as fit as she looks, and getting around in a dive suit is already challenging. Skullwalker, though? I'm disappointed. One of the last true frontiersmen of our time should be thrilled to participate in honest exploration again, or at least talk about it. But all he asks me about is my family. You may be my greatest hero, sir, but even you won't entice me into speaking about my ex-wife. There's not enough rum here for that conversation. I was so eager to see how large the maggot would grow that I began feeding it my own blood. After all, that was the first thing it went for. I didn't factor in that its increase in size has not been proportional, or that its increase in strength has not been proportional to its growth in size. It appears to be developing a heightened awareness of its surroundings. Have you ever been looked at hungrily by a dog-sized oozing balloon-like thing? It's even less fun than it sounds. Yeah, dude, you cannot keep that thing around you anymore. Alright, bunch of outgoing messages here to all Alpha base crew. Just wanted to say, should you hear loud banging in my laboratory, do not be alarmed. It's just an experiment I'm running. Everything is proceeding as intended, though I would advise against entering my work area without me, especially if you have recently eaten chicken. Thanks. My everything is proceeding as intended shirt has a lot of people asking questions. To all Alpha Base crew, as the senior ranking member of this endeavor, I am ordering everybody to remain inside Alpha Base until further notice. Should you hear knocking, slithering, or any other unusual noise coming from outside, Proceed to another part of the base just to be safe, then call me. Message from Corporate. Mr. Callan, while the board appreciates your enthusiasm for this project and your role in identifying the site, they would like to remind you that your job is to facilitate the research of Professors Chambers and Skullwalker and collect samples for our experts who just arrived on the deep-sea rig. None of this requires you to conduct your own studies. The research budget will not be altered, barring exceptional circumstances, so please focus on your prescribed duties. I found the little bastard. It burrowed into the sand and was catching small fish. It seems to have evolved into an ambush predator, like a bobbit worm. Incredible. The physiological and behavioral changes are happening right before my eyes. Yeah, you've got to get rid of that thing. Message from Corporate. Mr. Callan, the board is indeed interested in this new specimen, but they must again remind you that your job is to simply retrieve new samples and send them to Deep Sea 15. Alpha is not yet equipped to study xenolife forms. Please consider your significant outstanding debts to Kane and the fact that although you are separated, your ex-wife is still a shareholder of your debt as you are of hers. Of course, why wouldn't it work that way? Message from Deep Sea 15. A spike in seismic activity caused the collapse of the primary ingress into the cave and temple structure. We're sending a drilling technician to widen the entrance so that supply shipments can be resumed. In the meantime, you are advised to implement a ration system and reserve medications for emergencies. Gosh, I just realized that I am like 4 hours late on taking I'm so bad at my medications. I will do it after this, I swear. A fragile cave system isn't the best place to use sonic attractors, but how else was I supposed to attract larger fish? While the attractors were working, my new buddy managed to snag a few juicy specimens. The sonic attractors also wrecked most of the electrical systems and distorted the magnetic field, which the walls amplified. Maybe this will turn out to be a blessing in disguise. The new larger entrance will be much better staging ground for expeditions. Message to Daniel Gunderson. I imagine you're a cut-to-the-chase sort of guy, so I'd say limit it to 18 feet in diameter max and go from there. With the recent collapse, it's the only way out of this place. Report back to me on your progress tomorrow. Message to all Alpha Base crew. There's no good way to say this, so I'll just rip off the Band-Aid. We're sealed in. Completely. I don't know how it happened exactly, but Gunderson's drilling caused another cave-in. But fear not, we all know the value of our work, and so does Kane. I am certain they will spare no expense to free us. Personal log. I'll just wait here for Gunderson to open the passage. I didn't check my gear before I left. Guess I never learn. Sheila would shake her head and laugh if she saw me now. Same old Roger, always getting ahead of himself. I wonder what she would say if she knew I named the maggot after her. Little guy's got legs now. Many of them. As if it wasn't horrifying enough. I suppose if I die, I can be satisfied that here, at the edge of the world, I brushed up against mysteries beyond my comprehension. Mysteries to which I led the way. Only getting 1 BPS. I guess they're moving the data receivers elsewhere? The Newman is not going to be happy trapped down here. I'm amazed Kane would risk pissing that thing off. From Corporate. Mr. Callahan. With deep regret, the board must inform you that we have abandoned this forward operation. Please understand that this is not a reflection on your work to date, but the result of repeat violations by the Newman. The isolation of Alpha lends itself perfectly to a seal and forget procedure. The board asks that you pass on their sincere regret for these unfortunate events to the rest of the crew and thank them for their service. You will all be pleased to know that your hard work won't be lost. The construction of a new base has already been approved. In light of the above, we have released your ex-wife from her debt. She will surely be in the Nexus, waiting for you with her arms open wide. Congratulations, and farewell. That's That's really grim. That's really grim. Just the tone of it. I fucking... Thick dirt has slowly flooded into the cave, slowly constricting and strangling its interior, the space between the floor and ceiling having slowly but perpetually shrunk. Torchlight reveals hints of an open passageway, shadows dancing on a trail of mud beyond the bars of drooping stalactites. Yeah. The way that he originally got in here, I guess. So we don't know when that I'll wait here message was sent. I'm assuming it was before he came outside. He was trying to like find a way out in the aftermath of that message from corporate. Some, if they're not going to save us, we'll just have to save ourselves kind of stuff. I do not love all of this. From the wet clag emerges the skeletal structure of a gargantuan aquatic creature, stripped clean of...
Holy shit. What is that?
I'm getting to it.
It looks like, a giant maggot.
Oh my god.
I do not like this.
Same. Big same.
Compromised. Energy reserves below 10%.
I have to find some way past it.
Anyway, their remains lie intertwined with other carrion, making it difficult to determine what creature these remains belonged to. Yeah, so one assumes if we get too close to this huge thing, it will simply consume us. The colossal mass slouches within the rocky alcove, its distended form twitching and undulating in the soft currents like a malformed water balloon. Through translucent skin, vague shapes of shuddering organs are visible. Tiny bubbles escape from the anus, while the maw slurps fluids from a rotting carcass. That, on the other hand, very common. Every video game contains sentences like these. The dried remains of ancient lava flow have created a ramp-like structure, allowing access to an area beyond. Okay, so we can just climb up away from it, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to get us to a place where we can, breathe. The boneyard of aquatic giants is little more than a growing heap of relinquished scraps, discarded once their flesh has been ingested by the nightmarish maggot. I mean, I kind of want to just go for it and see the death scene. I hope y'all don't mind. I have a morbid curiosity. Is it gonna just let me, it'll respond to my movement, right? Maybe not. A sturdy bronze figurehead of an ancient galleon, arms splayed as if in reference toward the horror that nests below it. I mean, not really. It doesn't seem to be indicating that at all. Well, I mean, hold on. Before we go in there, I feel like we should, I thought for sure, given what he was saying about it, being an ambush predator, that it would ambush and predate. Let's see what's up here. So we can get, more or less on top of the structure. Oh, there are so many interaction points up here. The trench wall is a curtain of stalactites and stalagmites stretching upward toward a shattered cavity within the cavern's roof. The pillar has been splintered.
Oh my. It's amazing.
Holy shit.
Is that what I think it is?
Like a toy.
It's a Spanish galleon. It must have sunk and crashed into the top of the chamber.
Not yesterday either. How old is this place?
Old. Far older than the ship.
Warning. Major structural instabilities detected. Use caution when working around this artifact.
Careful around that thing. Could dislodge really easy.
The deck looks intact. I'm going in it.
Charlie? Why?
I have the barest beginning of a thought.
This woman...
See, I thought she was reacting to this. Because that, whatever that is, it's fucking huge. Even if it's really close to the camera, it's still very big. Anyway, the pillar has been splintered near its apex. a spear piercing the darkness beyond a tear that's rent through the ceiling. From above, a perpetual snowstorm of particulates rains down, which is to say, there is a way out up there. A pair of barrels lie half submerged in mud and mussels, their contents long since evaporated or disintegrated. What is her idea? I can't see how it would be a good idea to go into this thing. It is for sure going to fall apart, right? The midsection of an ancient galleon lies shattered upon the barnacle-stippled cavern floor. Listen, consonants are tricky. They're all the same when you really get down to it. Alright, let's have a look around the side here. Huh. Oh, I see. It's an area transition. Hold on. I'm not ready to do that yet. The shock of the vessel's impact popped the mast out of its lodging, collapsing backward and colliding with the remains of the ship's aft. The torn section of the ship lies beheaded against the pillars of rock, the majority of its body swallowed by shifting mud. The aft section of the vessel's corpse has been overrun by a variety of critters, slowly blanketing and consuming what remains of the rotting vessel. Yeah, very slowly, in fact. Well, I guess she said she wanted to go in. I guess let's go in. Seems like a phenomenally dangerous thing to do, especially since we're not swimming. We're like clomping around on the surface of it.
I'm in the captain's quarters. The wood is really rotten here.
Warning. Energy reserves below 10%.
You're running out of time, Charlie.
She is not the only one.
Yeah, true enough. The pulpy wooden flooring bends like thick rubber as you traverse over it. That's a big ol' octopus! The albino octopus sits upon its self-claimed throne, its cataract-racked eyes broadcasting both a deep age and also malice. Hooray! Its massive sucker-bearing arms would crack open this diving suit while it injects a salivary neurotoxin into the bloodstream. Yeah, there's a lot of that going around here. A curtain of barnacles rolls down the wall, thick clumps of sharp shapes tumbling over each other as they sprout from displaced linen. I don't know what I want to do with any of this stuff. The sodden remains of a bed underneath the octopus, partially collapsed due to age and rot, the dissolved sheeting little more than clouds of fabric. Well, let's see if I can access this globe without getting murked. Hey there, buddy. Huh. 603, 2 correct but wrong places. 123, 1 correct and well placed. So the 2 that are correct up here the 3 is not one of them. It's the 6 and the 0. And then either the 1 or the 2 is right here. 1 correct but wrong placed. So it starts with a 2 probably. 1 correct but wrong placed. So the 6 doesn't go there. So the 6 is in the back. So it's 206? No. It's 2... Wait. 918, nothing is correct. Yeah. I think it's 206, but it can't be 206 because the 0's wrong. 1 correct but wrong placed. If I'm right that the 6 is in here, the 6 has to be in the back. Oh no, sorry, the 2 is in the right place. It's 026.
Oh, what do we have here?
Condi's
Potassium
powder.
permanganate, a disinfectant, and deodorizer.
We could use a lot of that.
If it still has efficacy, it's ancient.
This reeks like a rancid diaper stuffed with fetid cabbage. However, there is no fungus that some good 300-year-old Condi's potassium permanganate can't kill. Okay, so it's a fungicide at least.
Amazing.
It is pretty.
Everything this must have seen.
Yes. Especially at the end.
The Anne Alexander for New Bedford, 29 January 1806. I don't even think a place called New Bedford still exists. A weird, great souvenir to try and hold on to if we find a way out. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool if you can get past everything else that is happening down here. I think we should leave the octopus alone. He's got his little garden in the shade here, and that's good enough for me. Alright, so if we come down this side, are we around the back of the maggot? We are indeed. The figurehead of the ancient ship protrudes forward from the bow. Its purpose of warding off bad luck from underwater spirits or violent creatures has evidently failed. Maybe we can release it and make it fall on the maggot somehow?
Warning. Major structural instabilities detected. Use caution when working around this artifact.
The bow of that thing could come apart any second, Charlie.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, the maggot's actually not a problem, as far as we can tell. But I can kill it nonetheless. So these are welding rods. I probably can't just jam these in the... You know, he said that the audio techniques he was using to whatever it was he was doing did damage the cave around him, so maybe if I can record something loud. Out of curiosity, you can't just make a functional... No, okay. There's no way to turn those into heat. Yeah, alright, I think we're gonna have to come back here. But yeah, the maggot seems to be... I was kind of curious if I could just like devour enough fungus to completely destroy the structural integrity of the thing. It doesn't seem to be a problem. Maybe we should just try to go past it and see what happens. It let me go all the way to the door of the thing, but maybe if I had tried to go inside, it would have killed us. Let's go find out. It's hard to imagine what we're going to use the unconscious scrubber for. And it does seem like whatever it is, we'd have to wake the thing up first, right? Alright, prepare yourselves for possibly I get dead. Yeah, it's weird that it waits until then to attack you. I will say that for the most part, I feel like they take it pretty easy on the gruesomeness on these deaths. As a person who really loves, you know, horror media and stuff, I was prepared for there to be a lot more visible brutality, and it's really not like that. Okay, well, anyway, let's run Charlie back up here, and maybe what I am still yet to do does not have anything to do with this. Maybe we need to go do stuff with something else and then come back once we have acquired something that will allow us to cut through the bow of the ship or destabilize it in some way. It does seem like... Yeah, I don't know. Alright, let's take a quick peek at Moses. We haven't looked at Moses yet today, and we know this area that he's trapped in. But we have some tools we didn't have before. Were they collecting metal sticks? Was this made when there were still dinosaurs and horses? Oh, horses have gone extinct. That's actually really sad. I'm massaging this into my fur to be beautiful, like hope. I've been collecting small throwing rocks and keeping them in my fun bag. Oh, I want to sing into this. Hope and I loved singing. I mean, there are alarm sounds and stuff. I wonder, let me run over to where the creature is. The creature was making noises, right? I wonder if we can record its sounds.
I do not like these sounds. They are wrong.
The cries. I remember them from my fugue. Somehow.
Now we have them.
I don't want them.
Yeah, understandable. This thing is a real nightmare to look at. They've done a great job with the design of the creature. Let's just back up a little bit here. Is there anything else? We have a
Mortuary cabinet open. Resealed to avoid thawing.
Whoa.
Charlie, look at the uniforms.
Yeah, they're Soviet too.
Did I just not walk over here earlier? I must not have. A deep tang of rot emanates from the bodies, partially preserved by whatever tomb they were extracted from. Their archaic woolen clothing is stained and weathered, reminiscent of the oldest world wars. What is this? Interesting. And an inventory tag, IIF Industries. Oh, you're holding something. Translator indicates, Comrade Kirill, you must commandeer 3 suits from the locked storage. First, locate the thermite ingredients, potassium, ferric oxide, and aluminum. Then meet me in the pantry. Curious. Well, now we know how to make thermite, I guess. I feel like there's a lot of overgrown stuff over here, but not necessarily a huge amount of, like, fungus to deal with. Part of the problem here is that, like, Moses still has a pretty large area to work in. That makes it a little harder to figure out what needs doing. Okay, so we're broadcasting audio to the artifact storage lab. So if I do this, am I going to be able to get that thing to go running into the... Oh.
It did not stay long.
Perhaps it needs more motivation.
Okay. I need to put something in there to get it to stay for a second so I can run in here and close it, right? Bam. Get locked. Okay, so what else might it like? That I don't know that we have anything. This looks fun to chew, even though it smells like toes. But oh, I do wish I could take just a little bite. Why do you want to eat the paper? Looks like it's got either a 265 or a 592 on it, depending on how that's intended to be oriented. Got ourselves a lighter that I don't really know what to do with. Fire melts stuff, as Moses so helpfully notes. Oh! No, can I not leave? I was thinking, oh, it's like food, right? Okay, the interaction area is there. But no. I cannot leave for it a small organic thing to eat. I mean, this looks fun to chew. No? The monster probably wouldn't agree, I guess. So we have this stuff. What was back at that other security terminal? I mean, there's this one, which wants us to do some kind of something. Yeah, I'm not going to try to brute force this. And then we have the door. Where I don't know what we would do to access this door. I do not feel like we have anything that would be helpful here. So let's look at Mac's situation again. Mac's got this crane. Can I separate these? Just like break the collar open? It's hard to think any of this would matter very much. My fingers can never manage to get these open or closed when I'm on a dive. Pesky little things. You know, I used to rub my arms with this stuff back on the front line. It also keeps the nasal passages clean. Reminds me of Mom's cooking. Hold on, we can do this away from that making that noise. Now, I wonder what the market is for old artifacts. This old piece of iron is crumbling into dust as I speak. Well, this could be helpful unless it's just the tag for the sock drawer. But then we'll need to find the machine that reads it either way. Yeah, and you would imagine it would be in that lab, right? Is there maybe a computer? I'm just kind of curious. Can I use this thing to destabilize? I think whatever like playback equipment he was using, I don't think I have, is the problem. We know we have a place to play it, it just doesn't We just need something for the creature to like munch on or be distracted by until we can run in there and yeah, alright. So, you know, the bag does say specifically that it's good for carrying, you know, like an acid or whatever. But can I just like scoop it? Yeah, okay. Gross. Well, that'll probably do something to those bolts. Okay.
Well, that did that.
Loud noises.
That does not look stable. I'd get across that fast.
Not sure if fast is the right approach here.
I do want to do it fast.
Oh, man.
Mac, I am glad you are not dead.
Thanks, Bear.
What happened?
Crane came apart behind me and fell into the breach. Whew. Barely made it. Not going back that way.
There is no going back.
Who are you anyway?
My name is Farhan. I was a researcher here once. Long ago. Maybe. Things are still blurry. Strange. My head hurts.
And what? You think you're pinned under rubble? How about the rest of you? It hurting too?
No, I feel nothing. Nothing but my head.
Yep.
And I can't see anything. It's complete darkness.
We'll find you. Just hang on.
Well, I'll say this, it's going to be a lot easier to carry him out of here with him just being a disconnected brain and all. I don't... Maybe it would be clearer to me if I had dissolved those bolts before doing whatever it is I did with the controls on that puzzle, but I don't understand what the controls on that puzzle were for. I guess it must be the case that the crane wouldn't have fallen over if the device wasn't freaking out, I guess, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. It kind of seems like that didn't accomplish anything. The chasm falls away into inky teal darkness, clogged with roiling clouds of dark mist. A gentle, dusty wind blows upward, carrying with it a scent of damp clay, while wind currents emit soft echoing noises in the far distance. The force of whatever violence was meted out to the bridge was such that the structural beams became warped and blackened. A pair of well-padded bags holding construction sand speaks to the degree of the assembly being undertaken to establish an encroaching foothold within the cavern. And a contemporary metallic ramp leads up to the entrance of the facility, the walkway sullied by foot traffic. A mountain of sandbags hides in heaped piles underneath, temporary storage until needed elsewhere. Lights beamed into the charcoal blackness tease out evidence of far-flung walls, the cracked bedrock a natural bulwark between the cavern and the tumultuous ocean waters beyond. While the portable lab squats like a plastic pimple amidst the archaic stone and architecture, the entrance adorned in a foreboding crimson light. Let's take a quick peek in here if we can, before we call it for the day.
You are in Omega Lab, a black band restricted area.
Well, who's going to kick me out? So, barrels of decontamination solution are dispensed to the shower heads on command. We have here a doorway. A heavy metal door has been shut off, and there appears to be no way to get through it. Shower heads poised to dispense cleansing formula, sterilizing equipment, and personnel entering or leaving the facility. Or cleansing equipment and personnel. A container for liquid gas storage. Once filled, the fluid is fed into the piping in measured amounts to treat the decontamination solution. And here we have a vast number of chemicals stored, suggesting that the decontamination procedure was both lengthy and thorough.
Clean room sterilization system active.
I probably don't want to mess with this while I'm not in any kind of suit. We'll play with this more next time. Let's just have a quick look at this door as well. Okay, remote lockout, so we had to figure something else out somewhere else. Okay, well, there's still definitely places for Mac to go, and also we can mess with this horrible decontamination procedure. Maybe we subject the scrubber to it. Who scrubs the scrubber? Us. It's us. We're the ones who do that. For now, though, I think that is going to have to be it for us for today. And thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, we will forge deeper still into this horrible place. Maybe we will finally be able to get Moses into a more secure position than just, like, it's wild how long he has just been sitting, like, 30 feet away from that monstrous creature with nothing in between them at all. And just the thing being kind of dumb, and I suppose not having eyes, to be fair, is all that's protecting him. We got to do better. Come back next time when we will do better. And we'll see you then.